Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Troublemaker is back on Mama Knows Bestest. If you're tuned in, I want to thank you more than you know. I'm going to get right into it. There's a couple of subjects that I wanted to touch on, but the most prevalent in my mind is from a video that I've noticed on YouTube. I am subscribed to Vice on YouTube channel. Check them out if you haven't already. They have a lot of interesting subjects with videos. I'm a receipts kind of girl, so I love to see visuals and actual footage with my information that I present to you. Um, so let's get into it. Vice featured a video called "The Day Police Dropped a Bomb on Philadelphia." I was there, where a woman by the name of Ramona Africa was the only survivor of approximately 11 people who I'm not sure if they're her actual family members. I believe she come to call them her family because of the organization that she was a part of. But they were all killed in a bombing in May 13th of 1985. The location was Osage, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, forgive me. It's Osage Avenue in Philadelphia. The bombing was conducted by Philadelphia police at the orders of the U.S. government. The excuse given for this heinous act was that Black Liberation Organization, they called themselves MOVE, MOVE, who was founded by John Africa, who believes revolution didn't call for violence or bloodshed. Um, in the video, the narrative was clear, um, especially when I saw the news anchor talking about the incident in the aftermath. It gave me chills. I'm not gonna lie. The way that they talked about people as if they weren't even human. But check out the whole video on Vice, and you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. I didn't want to get copyrighted for playing it, but please check it out. Basically, what he was saying was that people had moved into the neighborhood. Their name was Move, and that they basically posted up in this house that they had rented, and the house was filled with people. That's what they claimed. And that they tried to live in Philadelphia as if it was a forest. This is actually what the anchorman said. Now, whatever that means, I'm not sure, but I can give you some ideas of what it means. It sounds a little racist to me. They were black people. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just touched me in the wrong way when I heard it. Um, but yeah, whatever that meant, as if it matters how they were living there. Did that warrant them bombing them? I don't think so. But let's continue. Then he went on to say that they confounded everyone around them by ignoring trash ordinances and modern plumbing collections. So the city ordered them out. They said a year ago from the incident, the city went to make them as firemen crawled through with water hoses. So basically, they came to the house after they told them to leave, um, because they didn't like the way they were living in their house. Basically, that's what I got from the video. They didn't like the way that they were living there. They said that they were on microphones, yelling out their slogans and making everyone uncomfortable. So they basically the police and the government wanted them out of the area. They wanted them to shut down all operations. The problem was, not only was this their headquarters, but this was also where they were living. So they called the firemen on the people who lived there at Move, and they actually had water hoses and basically tried to flood them out, from what I understand. The idea was to flood them out so that they would come out of the house, which they didn't. They actually located to the basement. Um, and this is after they had been threatened, mind you. I left that part out. That's why I want you to really go back and look at the video. So you're not just taking my word from it for it. But they had been threatened with violence. And like I told you, these people were nonviolent. So I'm sure that was scary. There were children and everything in there. It's not like there were a bunch of militant people with all these guns and everything. They were, mothers, children. They just wanted a better way of life and wanted to be left alone. That's my take from it. And no one seemed to want them to do that. Um, so there was an officer that was there, and shots were fired, and an officer died. Now, the trajectory of the bullet was from upward down to the head of the officer outside. Now, I just told you that all the move people were inside in the building, in the basement of the building, that they were flooding trying to get them out. So, if the firemen and the government officials and the police operatives were outside, and the man who was outside had got shot, who shot the man? It couldn't have been the people from inside because it came from an upward position, meaning either it was either a sniper or he was maybe at a lower part in front of the building. I'm not sure, but it couldn't have come from inside is my point, because it would have been upward. If they were from in the basement shooting outward, it would have been the trajectory for it would have been going up and out, not out and down. So to me, I believe they shot their own man. I don't know if they meant to do that to incite a riot or if it was just an accident, maybe. But of course, with all the tensions, no one was wanting to hear that. They automatically assumed that, well, they're firing at us. One of ours is down. So in retaliation, they proceeded to arrest the women and men who were there after they surrendered, of course, and they were arrested for murder of the police officer, um, and given 30 to 100 year sentences. But at the time of the incident, even the media says Move was in the basement, and the officer that was shot, it came from a downward angle. That's where I got that from, the news. So that was pretty crazy to me. But Mayor Rizzo, who was the mayor at that time, wanted them gone, and it was clear. So on May 13th, hundreds of police came out. Now the original incident, excuse me, was on May 11th. So 2 days later, on May the 13th, hundreds of police came to the Osage Avenue house to make their move and move out. Um, so the commissioner Gregory Sandberg came onto the loudspeaker saying, "Attention, move. This is America. You have 15 minutes to come out," and no one did, right? Of course not. They're afraid to. You've already arrested several of the members and given them basically life sentences for something they didn't do. So I would have been scared to come out too. That's just me. Um, the woman, Miss Africa, she even stated that they had been making threats to them before then, saying that there were going to be bloodshed, people were going to die, that the police would ride around in the neighborhood and yell them out on these demands and threats on the loudspeaker nightly. So I'm sure they were terrified, and rightfully so. Um, so basically, at 6 a.m., they used tear gas, water cannons to evict them. They also shot into the house, which I thought was really crazy because there were kids clearly um, in the building. So they said it was over 10,000 bullets found and fired into the house. Over 10,000. They meant to kill them, I believe. They meant to kill them all. And then silence. After all that shooting, the water, the tear gas, everything just went dead silent. So just when they thought it was over, and I'm sure a lot of them probably didn't survive the bullets. If they shot into the house over 10,000 times, Some of them were probably injured. They were probably, ministering aid to the children and the women and people who were hurt in the building. And you're reeling from all of these attacks. And I'm sure you want to come out at this point, but you're afraid to because they've already showed you aggression. They've already shot into the building. I don't know anyone who's getting shot at running toward the bullets. I mean, if someone's at your front door shooting into your house, your first reaction is not going to be to run out of that door. That's just me, a thinking person. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, so they dropped a bomb. After all of that, a helicopter flew over the building that they were in and dropped a bomb. You heard me, a bomb on the house. And as a result of that, it burned over 60 houses. And the fire department didn't put it out for hours. They stood there and watched it burn. Once the remainder people tried to surrender, they were not. They were met with more gunfire. They were not met with um, ease. They were not taken into custody. They were met with gunfire. So ultimately, Ramona surrendered with a little boy named Birdie. He looks to be about 8 years old. I would say he's a little fella, and you'll see him in the video if you go back and watch it. Um, but they were the only two who came out alive. Everyone else in that house had been dead. Yeah, they killed them all. They were the only two survivors. So when she come out, you can see literal flesh gone from this woman's arms. That's how severe her injuries were. She had no skin on her arms. And you know what they did? Reached and grabbed her on the burns, cuffed her, put her in the back of the squad car. So they did the same thing to the little boy, which I thought was crazy because he's a child. Um, so despite her obvious third degree burns, um, they didn't administer aid to her. They took her to jail, where she received some treatment. But she never heard from Bertie again. She doesn't know where he is. No one will tell her any information right now to this day. In 2023, this woman still has never heard from this little boy. They won't give her any info. So, 5 kids, 6 adults. Ramona was charged with their murders and with arson and other things she clearly didn't do. So, yeah. Not only did they kill her and her family, but they charged her with their murders. So, why am I telling you this? Because people have become complacent and believe in everything that the government says. We've had that pack mentality for decades. If the government tells us these people are public enemy number one, we assume the worst. We believe it. I encourage you to do more research because I'm not saying that these people were angels, but nothing from that story, in my opinion, warranted what happened to them. There are people who have done far worse, far more heinous things to people, and everyone knows it, and they're walking scot free, or had way less jail time, or didn't get killed. So it begs the question, why did they handle them like that? You know, it's awful. It seems that every time you want to, even down to, and I'm not going to make it a race thing, people in general, if you want to be left alone, for instance, if you and your family live off grid, there are several YouTubers that I am on YouTube subscribed to that live off the grid and they're constantly berated and harassed by the government. Why is that? Is that not the way God intended it? For you to sustain yourself and family and help your fellow man when you can. I don't understand the problem with that. If I can find a way to heat my house without getting gas from Spire or U.s.a, why can't I do that? If I can build me a car that runs on water, why can't I have that? Why is that a problem? Shouldn't such things be uplifted, illuminated, shared with the rest of the world, not snuffed out? it has to be some sinister agenda to that. Because I thought, especially the U.S., that's what we're all about, brotherhood and helping our fellow man and becoming the best society for the sake of ourselves and others, teaching them the ways if they don't know, and sharing our many resources, our knowledge, bringing each other up so that we're all on the even playing field. That's what they tell us. And that's what they tell other countries. But the history of the U.S. does not say that. And this is just one of many things that just opened my eyes to. I've never heard this story. I'm not gonna lie to you. Before now, I've never heard this story. So it really bothered me. It really triggered me to make a video because I'm just trying to still wrap my mind around me as a mother. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine someone shooting into the house with me and my children. The police at that. After they told us to move. Of course, everyone doesn't have money to move the way they want to move. If they're not following trash ordinances and stuff like that, that leads me to believe they're not the richest people. So, for you to tell them, all of them, to move, like today, that's it, you gotta go. For them not to do that, to me, they saw that as a sign of aggression, in my opinion, and which it shouldn't have been seen as that. I mean, even if you get evicted, they give you what? Is it 30 days or 60 days? I believe some people even draw it out more than that and become squatters and never move out. But they had to have them gone 2 days later. And if you don't leave, we're going to shoot into the house, flood it, and drop a bomb on it. If someone can make that make sense to me, I would love to hear from you. I really would. Because it was overkill. And that's putting it mildly. But like I said, it just brings me to another video that I find interesting. You may not. If you do, please comment, like, and share. I want to hear some feedback. I don't know if YouTube is just not like letting you all comment because I'm a small channel, but that's okay too. But I really would like to talk to some people about this because I can't be the only one feeling this way. And if I am, let me know that as well. But I'm going to start doing some more videos no matter if I ever get a like or not. These are just things that I want to share um, with the world. And if you are interested, click on it. If not, that's fine too. But these are things that bother me, things that I find interesting, and these are stories you really don't hear about. So I feel they need some attention. I really do. But like I was saying, this is Mama Knows Bestest, and you've been great, and I appreciate all the love and support. So I'm gonna be doing a new little, I guess, playlist. I should call it. I'm trying to figure out what to call it exactly, a title for it, but it's gonna be something along the lines of, "Do you trust your government?" I think far too many of us do. But I want to talk about everything from NASA to HARP, DARPA, um, the attack on the school system, the attack on the family dynamics in this country. And it's not just us, it's spreading worldwide. If that doesn't concern you, nothing will. So, until next time, stay vigilant, stay prayed up, and as always, take care of yourselves and each other. All right, have a great one.